Yeah, the first MLS Cup champions to lose 3 games in a row.
A championship team can't really hold on to their team. Let's talk MLS, bro.
MLS had a nice weekend of fixtures, a bunch of big games. We went to...
Congratulations to us, bro.
Yeah, congratulations. We went to the
10th anniversary game for New York City.
Well,
FC.
it wasn't the official 10th anniversary game, but it's
the 10th anniversary celebration home opener.
The 10th home opener. Andrea Pirlo's on the pitch. Quadrupoku was
bro.
really the one.
People went crazy when you said Poku, like the heart and soul, bro.
For real, it's just something. I mean, I think it shows a lot about the connection to the history of the team, because we know the big names, the Lampard, Villa, the Pirlo. We know the big names, and we know what sells the tickets. But people are just like, nah, Poku he brought something to this club that a lot of people.
There was something special about him.
Yeah. So that was awesome to see.
So we should actually start with the recent picture.
Okay.
Because we took a picture. There's us, right? This is us at the game, 10th anniversary. This is towards the end of the match, by the way, which is why the stands are a little empty, right? We couldn't get up to this area right away. But the reason we took this picture is because 10 years ago, me, you, and your lady, plus a former comedian and friend of ours who used to come to the games,
Evan Davis. He's still covering NWSL. And he's living in LA.
But he came to the game with us. But 10 years ago, we took this photo. Look at us.
Right there. Look at us.
First of all, I look the same. You, buddy. You look like you haven't hit puberty yet in this picture. It's crazy.
No, there's a little slight differences. I mean, there's a little bit more gray in your beard.
A little more gray in my beard, and maybe the corners of my hairline have slid back just a tiny bit.
My face is chubbier now. I put on like a little 10 to 15 pounds in
daddy weight, bro.
Daddy, I mean, sure, I guess.
Is that what they call it? I had that
my metabolism finally slowing down.
Yeah, it's about damn time, bro. You know how long I've been the fat one on the show? We need to get you catching up.
But no, man, this is this was the first game. This was a game against New England Revolution, and this was March. I forgot the exact date, but
2015.
In 2015. But that's So I mean, this is before the Cooligans existed.
Yeah, exactly. This was maybe 3 matches before I said to you, hey, I got this idea.
Sure.
And you were like, I think I want to ruin my next decade by working with you.
So
how cool, man.
Yeah, it's been quite...
Go back to the current one. Look at this.
It's been quite the journey. You know, the glow up is real.
Right.
But it's been, you know, it's even yesterday was like...
Do you have the same jacket on?
I do not have the
same jacket. I was about to say.
I don't... what jacket do I have on? Go back to the other one. What was I wearing? I was wearing a black vest with a hoodie.
You love vests. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
You're a big vest guy.
So, but yeah,
I guess your arms don't get cold. I don't know what happens.
So, but yeah, it's been like an emotional. I think on Saturday it was like seeing Poku, seeing you know, I was just go check out NYCFC Forever. I was just on their podcast,
the homies
that came out.
Some
today.
of those guys hated us back then.
Some won them over.
Yeah.
But it does show a lot of like you know, just the fact that we're still here doing this, and then it became a job, and we're at Yahoo now, and all this other stuff. But again, none of it happens if that club is not here in New York.
Us going to these games is what started us on this road. And if you're listening to the show and you happen to love what we do, it's because we sat next to each other at the game. I called you and I said, hey, man, you know, this is team starting. The tickets are super inexpensive, and look at where we are now. So shouts to Yahoo, bro. Shouts to everybody who's been a part of this whole run. But a fun game too. It was felt celebratory, even though it was a draw. It was a fun game.
No, it was a win. They won 2-1.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. It was a win. Jesus Christ.
What are you celebrating? You're celebrating a win.
I'm still thinking of Arsenal. No, it was a big win. It was a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the standout was Johnny Shore. He was player of the match. But
what is he, 17?
17 years old.
Absolutely incredible.
Academy player. And you know, and getting the opportunity to NYCFC does not really start like very young players like that.
At least not recently. In the past, they have, right? James Sands, Justin Hawk had some opportunities.
I don't know. I was asking the guys yesterday at NYCFC Forever. I don't know if Johnny. I don't think Johnny Shore is officially the youngest player ever to play for NYCFC, or at least start.
But he feels like a much more part of the team than when James Sands first came in.
Sure, it's for a 17-year-old. Again, this is something we're just like not really used to. You're not really used to seeing it from a lot of MLS clubs, but definitely NYCFC. Just is to have a midfielder that has a lot of possession and control of the game, and involved in kind of in build up,
and to seem so essential.
And making like breaking lines, great passes into the box.
Passes,
it's just
slick moves
for a 17-year-old. It's just like we're just not used to seeing this as fans. And I think for we get ahead of ourselves sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, yo, okay, this kid's 17 now, and he could do this now. Like, all right, USMNT, you watching now?
Right, exactly.
It's already getting pretty hyped up about it. But it was great to see. And look, Alonso Martinez and scoring a goal, Hannes Wolf. It was just a fun game and a much needed win for NYCFC.
Right.
So.
In fact, speaking of MLS, man, some of these teams have really started on a heater,
and some have not.
Yeah. Oh, there's some teams struggling.
We got to start there. We'll start with LA Galaxy because they've lost 3 in a row to start the season. And now, officially, they have the record. They are the first MLS Cup champions to lose 3 games in a row. The previous 2 that had the record before, which was 2 losses, which was DC United and Toronto FC.
It's a rough start. I mean, this is the part of MLS that I hate the most, which is a championship team can't really hold on to their team.
Yeah, I got it. You know what we got to do? And I got to maybe dedicate some time. Maybe we do a video or get somebody on the show. I actually want to talk to somebody, whether it's like a Paul Tenorio or a GM, of like, when you win MLS Cup, what is the penalty? Like, what is it that they exactly do? Because Galaxy have gotten rid of, I believe, 5 of their starters from the MLS Cup
Market
team.
Delgado gone. I mean, we actually witnessed this during the City Hall thing when NYCFC players were being honored. Apparently, at that moment, or maybe earlier in that day, it was announced like teams had to announce what players aren't a part of their roster.
Yeah.
So there was 1 or 2 who got very emotional. At that. And we were like, what a sour situation for this to be.
Yeah.
Like the timing of it is just terrible. It just sucks that there needs to be something. And I guess it's good for parity and that you don't have the same, team winning year after year after year. I don't know that it's so much a penalty. It's just that's the roster rules.
Yeah. But I would love to know what the rules are. Is the cap lower for you? Do you have to what is the actual... Why do they have to get rid of Gaston Brugman? Why do they have to get rid of Marky Delgado? These important players.
I don't think that they suffer more of a cap hit or anything than other teams. I just think the rules don't allow these teams to stay together. And they double down by keeping them. So now you have to remove them. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that, but you're saying the rules don't allow them to keep teams together.
The general rules for everybody.
What is the rule?
I don't think there's a rule for you won, so now X happens.
And that's the main
you.
thing. And I don't think you have the answer to this question. That's why I'm saying.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm offering a different, assumption.
I want to know what the rule is. So let's say you win MLS Cup. Is it because now the players are renegotiating contracts and are saying we need more money, and then that's why they have to get rid of them? That, maybe that's what it is. I don't know exactly.
You don't think it's the same cap issues that every team suffers at the end of a season where they just can't keep a team together? Because Daniel Lee said in the interview that I had with him where he said we decided to double down on our players and we took a really massive hit across the next few years because of it, because after we wanted to keep our championship team together.
But why does it seem like MLS Cup winners have to get rid of more players?
I don't think
that's just coincidence.
I think every team has to get rid of players, but it seems so much more egregious when you're the winner. You're like, oh, why do they got to get rid of these players?
Maybe that's what it is.
Everyone else is like, we got to get rid of players.
So yeah, we got to talk to somebody.
Let's get Bogert or Tenorio in here to explain it.
I would love to know the specific because it is kind of strange. But yeah, Galaxy are. I mean, it's weird to say of a team that just won MLS Cup a few months ago that they look awful.
They look awful.
And yeah, hopefully,
you don't want to be the West Coast Montreal.
Sure. I mean, look, every season there's a new quote unquote Montreal or whatever.
It's usually Montreal. Club the foot, bro.
No, they have up and down seasons, but
It's also the beginning of MLS, and I say this all the time. I don't know if you say this. First 10 matches don't matter, bro. That's preseason.
I do not say this. I think they do matter, and they matter a lot when you get to the end of the season and you're fighting for these playoff spots.
It's too long of a season, bro. Trust me. I promise you, the first 10 matches do not matter.
I don't even know.
Where were LA Galaxy last year? The first 10 matches.
Last year they weren't this bad. They didn't lose their first 3.
They were trash, and look at where they ended.
I gotta look. I don't know.
Look it up.
The season prior, the season prior, they were bad. The last season, they were not that awful. It's just, but they don't even have like an identity, like, or they don't have the identity they just had a couple months ago.
Maybe Greg Vanny's done this so much. He's like, everybody relax. We got till All-Star.
It's just so wild to win MLS Cup and then go back to like panic mode of like, or trying to explain these losses. Marco Royce looked better and had more responsibility.
He seems like he's more a part of the team now. It felt like coming in midway through the season or towards the end of the season, he really almost didn't know what his role is. Now he's understanding it.
Yeah. But they look bad in CONCACAF Champions Cup. They look bad in MLS. It's like, I'm ringing some alarm bells because it's I don't know.
It's a little early.
Some people are saying they might miss the playoff.
First 10 matches last season, Galaxy had 5 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses. They were very good.
Okay. Then maybe I was remembering the season before.
They were. That was.
That's not a great. They were good. They're pretty good. But alarm bells now that they're going to miss the playoffs is insane.
All right. A couple other things.
Also, Card, if I'm ever wrong, just don't respond. You know what I mean? We could have let that one go.
Just omit some stuff.
Yeah. If I'm editing all that out, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm going to sit next to you.
The other match we got to talk about, Seattle Sounders put up a 5 spot. I got 5 on it.
Wow.
A classic.
Ask your uncle.
Go look it up, kids.
Ask your uncle.
A little Lunis for you.
Lunis? The Loonies.
The Loonies? That's what they were called. I called it Lunis.
Did you? Like a Latino kid?
Yeah, bro. I know how to read.
No, it's the Loonies, bro.
Anyway.
You're crazy.
You
crazy. Hold on. Lunis.
The Jordan Morris, they scored 5 goals, some spectacular goals. Paul Rothrock had an incredible goal. But the goal from Jordan Morris get his 87th goal for the Seattle Sounders. He is now the record holder.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Yeah, it's okay. Yes, record holder. I want to make you to finish this. I'm gonna put you on the spot. We've talked a lot about Jordan Morris's career, right? Shouldn't he have gone to Europe and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, he goes, gets injured, comes back this time. But before, he didn't want to go. Looking at this, right? A guy who grew up loving this team. A guy who grew up a local kid, wanting to play for this team, gets to play for this team, is now the record holder for scoring the most goals for this team. Give me a score from 1 to 10 on how you rate Jordan Morris's Seattle Sounders career.
His Sounders career, I gotta say it's a 9.
It's a 9 or a 10?
It's spectacular.
How do you rate his whole career?
2 titles, I believe, right?
How do you rate his whole career, though?
His whole career.
Is there something missing, you think?
I will say that.
And this only happens with Jordan Morris, as you think.
Yeah,
because
I was going to make this point regardless.
There were opportunities to go to Europe, and so that I think a lot of people who've known Jordan Morris's career from the beginning still have this little asterisk still.
Right, and we had a lot of fun with it when the whole Jermaine Jones.
Right. He might not have, but we had a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
But we spoke to Jordan about it, and he was cool about it.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: I think right now, he is kind of turning his career around. I think he was fantastic last season.
Yeah.
He's becoming a very important attacker for the Seattle Sounders, and a big reason they score the goals that they get. Even when they had Nico Lodero and Rui Diaz, and he was still really a part of the offensive structure of that team.
Especially in the beginning of last season when there was a couple injuries, and he really carried the load.
So I will say this, whether it's a hot take or not, I think we should be thinking about Jordan Morris returning to the national team. And given all the injury situations we have up front, I don't think it's like even.
You think as a striker?
Up top or on the wing, maybe on the bench, or just as an option. He is offensively, I think, looking great. And that's the blemish on his career so far that I would say. His national team career has just been so underwhelming. And just he's had a couple decent moments here.
He's
and there,
had opportunities,
but injuries and just not. It just hasn't worked. But I think it might work with the roster like this. He wasn't playing with these guys.
Knowing that Balogun is out and Ricardo Pepi's out, I still think this opens the door for Josh Sargent. I don't think
you
go down the roster
is on the top of the list. Yeah, but it would, to me, wouldn't be crazy. Jordan Morris getting
a spot on the bench.
Not crazy.
Huh? You know what? I hadn't thought about that. I could see that. I still feel like I don't know that I put him even in the top 2 or 3. I'm trying to think about what that. I don't think it's I don't think he's above a Duncan McGuire. I think he's above a Duncan McGuire. I don't think Duncan McGuire is above him even anymore. Daryl Dike is just sort of getting back.
From Charlotte. Ajimang. Ajimang. I think I pronounced it. Apologies if I'm not getting it right, but you know who I'm talking about.
Maybe. Whatever it is, I apologize. We'll get it right. He's suddenly catapulted himself up.
Yeah,
but I could see Jordan Morris getting a shout.
There's something about he's a different player now and has a different maturity than he did before.
Maybe Brendan Vasquez still above him. Maybe. Because of what he's done in the past.
Yeah. Huh. I think
he's in the mix.
I would love to see it because even Brandon Vasquez at Austin hasn't really been that impressive just yet. And I like his tone, his leadership. He's a
veteran now.
And a veteran, and he's just I think he would bring something, even if it's not necessarily on the pitch for the US men's national team, that I think is worth taking a look at. So I hope Pochettino is at least watching some of these games and seeing what he's capable of and what he's doing, and maybe there might be a fit there. So, and more than anything, career-wise, it's just that injury, the tearing his ACL at Swansea was like how much more bad luck does this kid need?
Because that was a real opportunity for him to shine.
And if he didn't get hurt, and we were already seeing a lot of the tweets from Swansea fans like, "Who is this kid? Oh, this kid's doing great. This American or whatever." And the main thing, he was like, he is insanely fast, and even after tearing both ACLs, he's still fast. Stupid fast.
Yeah.
And so that is just something that is useful, and I think again the quality of his finishing, I think, has also improved, which is why I'm lightly campaigning for Jordan Morris.
I can see it. I don't hate it.
Getting
Good
some
call.
interest. And then and final thing before we wrap up, San Diego FC, another big shock. 3 games unbeaten. They beat LA Galaxy 3-0 at the dig.
Yeah.
And this is just a team with an injured Chukwulo. Oh no, I'm sorry. St. Louis beat LA Galaxy. San Diego played. Who did San Diego play?
They did win though.
They did win. Yeah. They won 3-0 to who? Apologies, sir. We didn't write it down in the rundown. But anyway, but San Diego did look.
They won 3-1 against Real Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they drew against St.Louis City 0-0.
Yeah.
But they beat LA Galaxy and they beat Real Salt Lake.
And I think in impressive fashion. I mean, there is
Anders Dreyer.
But I think
he's been a beast.
But doing this without Chucky Lozano, I think, was impressive on its own. But they're playing with it's not even about a freedom and confidence and blah blah blah. It's not all that. It's just they for an expansion team, they play pretty pragmatic. They play just simple, and I think it's one of those things of the players are still getting to know each other. They don't take too many risks, and they're getting and finishing their opportunities when they get them. So
it's all jokes aside, because I think when a new team comes, everyone wants them to bring in get Mbappe,
Yeah.
But they go out and get a guy like Luca Del Torre. At the end of the day, that's a really sharp purchase for an MLS club. There's a team. Here's a guy that clearly is of the level of a mid-table European club like Celta Vigo or something like that.
Yeah.
Clearly can play there. Comes to MLS, shining.
Yeah.
Smart, middle of the pitch, does the dirty work. You know what I mean? I'm this is all really sharp purchases.
Yeah.
It's a smart way to build your club versus say it's going to be Hollywood, baby, and we're going to get all the biggest names.
They their issue they had their, I don't think we talked about it last week, but they had their home game. So overall, San Diego it seems to be going in a great direction. They seem like the St. Louis from their expansion year.
Yeah.
But they had the grito at the game, the chant, and that they had to tell the fans to not do that.
Please don't do that.
And it brings up the same. Then it's like, no, it's not homophobic, and like the same arguments over and over and over.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. I don't.
If your team's gonna get punished for it, whether you like it or not, don't do it.
Yeah. This is just like how long
Yeah.
are we going to do this? Like now it becomes for the Mexican national team. I understand at least the reason that they're doing it out of
we're trying to get you in trouble.
We're trying to get you in trouble to
Yeah.
teach you a lesson to make this team better. Whether I don't agree with that,
Right.
but at least I understand the logic behind it. This is their first game. Like it doesn't. I'm not at a stadium, and I've been in stadiums where they do that. I'm never like, yeah, that made the game more fun.
Yeah.
I love that they're being cheeky and being stupid. Like, it's really stupid. And then like, right, we don't need to repeat it. We don't need to say it. You know what our thoughts on it are. But it's a shame that on that this team is playing as well as they are and dealing with this. And like, again, hopefully this is like stamped out and sorted out as soon as possible.
Please stop.
It's a blemish on.
It's only going to hurt your team.
Their success. So